All right, welcome to class today. It's Tuesday, October, I think 12th. So what's happening is we're not in Zoom today because teachers are going into the building to actually start learning how we're going to have students come in, like what procedures we're going to have to keep everyone safe. So teachers are spending the whole day doing this, but it's not a day off for students. We still want you guys to learn. So what you're going to do is click this YouTube video, which you're obviously watching right now. That's step one. Once you watch this and take the notes on what we would do in class, you're going to go down in our Google Classroom page to the Desmos activity. You just click that link and you do that activity. It's like 12 little questions and it kind of guides you through it. Just a little practice on what we're doing today. So let's get started on today's lesson. So we're starting a new unit today on transformations, and we'll get to those in a second. But thinking back to algebra, when you have the xy plane, or the coordinate plane, there are quadrants. Quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is quadrant 1, and you actually go counterclockwise, quadrant 2, 3, and this is quadrant 4. So just to quickly review, where are these points? So try to go through them really quickly, and I'll show you the answers. So 2, -3, right 2, down 3, that'd be in quadrant 4. -1, comma 4, left 1, up 4, that would be in quadrant 2. -5, -9, that's a negative x and a negative y. Way down here, left 5, down 9, that is quadrant 3. 8, 5, right 8, up 5, that is quadrant 1. So hopefully you're starting to notice a pattern. If x is positive and y is positive, it's quadrant 1. If x is negative and y is positive, that is quadrant 2. Negative x and a negative y is quadrant 3. Positive x, negative y is quadrant 4. So -10, -2, they're both negative. That's going to be down here in quadrant 3. So this is just a little review from algebra. However, we're going to need to know our quadrants later in the week. So that's why we're just kind of working on them during skill drills. And you got to be able to graph points. So another important thing. All right, I'm going to skip the rest because I feel like you got it. I'm going to go over to the notebook. Open up a new page in your notebook for a new unit. So this is unit 4. So I'm not in my notebook right now, but you write yours in your notebook. And 4.01 is going to be on translations. Unit 4 is going to be about transformations. And our first lesson is on translations. Later this week, we'll do reflections. That's Wednesday. Thursday, we'll do rotations. And then Friday will be like multiple moves in one. So that's the plan for the rest of this week. So we're talking about transformations in this unit. And when you think about transformations, maybe you think of the movie Transformers. Stuff is moving, changing shapes. They just move around, right? They go from a car to a plane, whatever. If you've ever seen the Transformer movies, might have been before your time. There used to be a cartoon when I was growing up, so I'd watch that. So shout out to the cartoon picture there. And there's multiple types of transformations. And a few of them are called rigid motions because we're going to move the shape on the coordinate grid, but the size doesn't change. So a rigid motion is when we move the shape, but the size doesn't change. Rigid means stiff or like not changing, right? If something's rigid, it's hard, it's not going to change. And motion means moving. So the shape is moving, but it doesn't change the size. We call the original shape the pre-image. The original shape is called the pre-image, the first shape. And if I look at this triangle, ABC, this is the first shape, the pre-image. And I'll show you how I know that in a second. After we move it, the final shape is called the image. So after the move, it's just called the image. And I know ABC, this triangle, is the image because we put these little tick marks above the letters. And they show, oh, I moved that shape once. So I'll give you a second to write that down. If you're ever like struggling to write stuff down during a video, just pause the video. So the first one we're going to talk about is a translation. I'm going to erase some stuff just so it looks a little nicer. Make this eraser bigger. Here. There it is. All right. So if I have a triangle, do green, ABC. To translate it, I'm just gonna slide that shape around. So if I grabbed it and moved it, I could just slide it on top of the other one. So it's just a slide. I'm not rotating the shape, I'm not spinning it, I'm not reflecting it, I'm just sliding it from here to here. So this is a translation, also known as a slide. And a few things about translations. How we write them is we say capital T. Oh, I gotta be writing. Don't want to be sliding. Right, capital T. And then how far in the X direction and how far in the Y direction we want to move something. So for example, to get B to B prime, where the tick mark is, I'm going up 1, 2, 3, left 1, 2. So this is a translation. Left 2, so negative 2, up 1, 2, 3, up 3. So it's always X comma Y. A couple things to notice. If we're going left, it's negative, so right would be positive. Up is positive, so down is negative. It kind of just makes sense. So this is a translation. Left 2, up 3. And another cool thing about translations, so I only looked at point B, but point C is going to do the exact same thing. I'll do it in yellow. It's going left 1, 2, up 1, 2, 3. Oh, it lands in the exact same spot. I move every point left 1, 2, up 1, 2, 3. So that's how we write a translation. Sometimes like computer programmers write them a little differently. So I'll just show you. Sometimes they might write them. You don't have to write this down. But if you ever see it, if they ever do X minus 2, comma Y plus 3, it means the same thing. You're moving the X left 2, you're moving the Y point up 3. Sometimes they'll write it like that, but in our class, we write it with a capital T. All right, so we're gonna do an example. I'm gonna slide this down. Slide everything out of the way. Great. So I'd write this one down. You could just draw a quick sketch. Below B is the image of C. And remember, image is second, pre-image is first. So if B is the image, B is the second shape. C is the first one. So we're just going to annotate really quick. So first is C, second I go to B. So using proper notation, write the translation that maps C onto B. So translation is capital T. Then I want to figure out how far does it go in the X, how far does it go in the Y direction. All right, so all you got to do is count. Not really a trick here. So from C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to the right. That was a lot. 13 right, so positive 13 because I'm going right. Then down 1, 2, 3. Down is negative, so negative 3. So this is my translation. Right 13, down 3 to get from C to B. The hard part, some people say, oh, it's left 13, up 3, because they think B comes first. Remember, image means it's the second shape. Pre-image is the first shape. So now it says graph the quadrilateral Q prime, U prime, A prime, D prime. That means I'm going to move it once. The image of the first quad after the same translation. So I'm going to use the exact same one, and I'm going to move all these points for quad. So I'm going to move each one right 13, down 3. So I'll start with A. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 13 right, down 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's where A prime goes. D. Now I could count right 13, down 3 again. Or I could look from A to D, I go up 2 over 1, up 2, left 1. So I could just go up 1, 2, left 1. Just helps me. It's going to be the same size, so it's going to do the same thing. But you could also just count right 13, down 3. So same for you. Right 13, down 3. So there's U prime. Same thing for Q. So it's the exact same shape, just moved right 13, down 3. It's the same size. The only thing that changed is the place on the graph. And I just picked every point up and moved them right 13 and down 3 for this problem. That's it. Translations are the easiest. We're just sliding everything. So I want you to see one more, and you could try this one. I'm going to show you it, and then you could pause the video and try it on your own. So I want to give this one a try. If we were in class, I'd say like, oh, this is you try round 1, try it out, see if you get the answer right. You can pause the video and then hit play when you're done, and I'll explain it. All right, so in the figure above, ABC goes the rigid motion T negative 4, comma 4. So that's the X and the Y. So it's left 4, then Y is positive, so up 4. So I'm just going to annotate which way I'm going to move my points. So I'm going to keep every point. A, B, C, D is going to become E, F, G, H. So if I start at point A, the first letter here is A, the first letter here is E, so A is going to turn into E. So I'm going to go left 4, up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So that is now point E. Now B. Okay, B is going to go left 4, up 4, and it's going to become F, the second letter. Left 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is F. Same thing, C, the third letter is going to become the third letter, G. I'm going to go left 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3, 4, and that will become G. And last one, D becomes H. Go left 4, up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. H. So this four-sided shape just moves left 4, up 4, and is now up here. Graph EFGH above, did it. State the coordinates of G. Okay, G's right here. The coordinates are left 6, from the origin down 1. Don't use -4 comma 4. That's how I moved it, but that's not the coordinates, right? G is at left 6 down 1 if we look at the graph paper. State the sum of the x and y coordinates of f. Okay, well, what are the coordinates of f right here? -3 comma 1. Those are the coordinates. Sum means add them, so -3 plus 1 equals 2. So why they do this one? Sometimes they ask you to add the coordinates because if you're like bubbling in your answer on a test or quiz, you can't bubble in coordinates. You just want to bubble in. So if you ever get like an SAT and they have you bubble in their numbers, it's like 0, 1, 2, 3. And they're like, bubble in your answer. There's no comma or anything, and there's no parentheses, so you can't bubble in coordinates. So sometimes they make you add them to see if you get it right. So my answer would be 2. I would bubble in a 2. Just like if you ever get to that on a test. Obviously, that's for more if we're in person. Online, it's a little different because we just like write the answer online. But that's why they sometimes ask for the sum. It's not because that's something you do in math. All right, so hopefully you're like, wow, translations are pretty easy. We're just sliding things. The big thing to remember, when you see a capital T, it's translation. This is left and right. Then the second number is up and down. So left to right, up, down, X and Y. So what I want you to do, we've taken the notes, we've done a couple practice problems. Stop the video, go back to Google Classroom, and click the Desmos activity. That's going to be your classwork / exit ticket for the day. You just have to complete all the questions in that activity. All right, I'll see everyone tomorrow when we talk about reflections.